In a world overflowing with distractions, we seek meaning. How do we transform ambition into something deeper, into true fulfillment? I'm Sam Pepin, CEO of Konnect, and I've spent years helping businesses succeed by connecting their goals to something bigger. On the Meaningful podcast, we explore not just how to win in business, but how to grow as individuals. Through conversation with thought leaders, innovators, and everyday heroes, we uncover the stories that drive us towards something greater. Whether you're striving for success, seeking purpose, or just looking for the next steps in your journey, this podcast is your guide to navigating the intersection of ambition, growth, and meaning. So please join me and our incredible guests as we redefine what's possible in both business and life. Enjoy. Innovation isn't about raising funds, it's about raising standards. Welcome to the Meaningful Podcast. I'm your host, Sam Pepin. Today we explore what it takes to build a bootstrap SaaS success story, how AI is redefining the customer experience, and why resilience beats funding in the long game of entrepreneurship. Samir Narkar is the founder and CEO of Konnect Insights, a bootstrap SaaS platform transforming how enterprises manage customer experience across 35 plus countries and 400 plus global brands. With over a decade of hands-on experience in technology and innovation, Samir builds Konnect Insights from the ground up into one of the most trusted AI-powered omni-channel CX platforms in the world. His journey is a testament to grit, vision, and discipline, proving that purpose-driven innovation can thrive without external funding when it's rooted in empathy, excellence, and impact. If you enjoyed this discussion, please let the world know with a like, small review, or even a quick share. It supports how more people find meaningful content just like this. Let's begin. Mr. Samir Narkar, welcome on the Meaningful Podcast. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, Sam. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's lovely having a guest from an incredible place called Mumbai, India, the capital of India, correct?
Well, it's a financial capital of India. The capital of India is New Delhi, but yes.
You're right. New Delhi is the capital, but financial capital it is. All right, very nice. Well, we'll talk a lot about a lot of tech things today, a lot of SaaS thing. But to kick us off, please tell us more about Konnect Insights.
Yeah, sure. So Konnect Insights is a SaaS platform. It's we call it as an AI-powered omni-channel customer experience solution. The problem that we solve for brands is, as a brand, when customers talk to them, they come via different channels. There are so many ways through which we can reach out to the brand, so they don't get one view of the customer. Because communication at the end of the day is one customer talking to one brand. But the complexity is because of so many channels, so whether it's Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, calls, chats, emails, so many review sites, blogs, forums. We unify that into one and give you one channel experience. So that's on the customer experience side of things. What we do are really good at Konnect Insights. And of course, because we bring in data from all these channels, the marketing team also wants to understand insights such as who are these people talking, from where they talk, what's the sentiment, how do we fare against the competition, what are campaign insights, what product categories people talk. So it's a product for customer experience team as well as marketing team. And any customer facing brand, any B2C brand, there are about 26 industries in which we work. They would love to have a solution like this. So that's what we do at Konnect Insights. Really.
Yeah, very nice. Take me back to the very beginning of this, Samir. You have a very interesting sort of background. When did you first remember being interested in technology? Is entrepreneurial perhaps a part of your family, part of your DNA? How did you get to perhaps be excited about this topic in the first place?
Yeah, surely not in the family. I think I'm the first in my family to get into business. Quite a bit of techie I was, even in college days, I graduated in electronics and telecommunication. In the final year of my engineering, I was really good at coding on robotics at that time and C and C++. So what we decided in the final year of engineering was, let's do projects for every other batch and make some money. Because people usually outsource their final year projects to some companies, right? We decided this in the second last year that we would do this for about 8 or 10 groups and make some money. So that was the first thing that I started. Saw some money. As a college graduate, this was at least uh, 5x of what you would get in your first job. So we saw some good money back then, right? Of course, it was not sustainable. So I started doing a job as a software developer, worked for about 6 to 7 years, got good exposure working on finance domain. And one fine day, from nowhere, some idea came that we can work on a product which can give you analytics and insights for shop owners. That was the initial raw idea. Thereby make a B2C app, take the insights, give it to the owners and make money. That was the whole idea. Well, I wouldn't say that totally failed, but a part of that product actually went on to become what Konnect Insights is today, as analytics platform. But then as we learned more from our potential customers, a lot of digital marketing agencies, the pivots kept on happening. We are way different than what we decided we'll be years back, and that's our journey. Exciting. I mean, when I started, it was just me, a couple of interns whom I could hire. I had no money, and we just generated money with doing some services business. Put that money into the product. Product started giving us money. We're still bootstrapped, nearing about 10 million a year. But yeah, that's the journey that we have had so far. Exciting, and loving every bit of it.
Yeah, 100%. And you sort of got into sort of the next part of where I was going, obviously from bootstrap beginnings to global scale. And we see more and more products like these, but I suppose at the time it was sort of redefining what bootstrapping can achieve. And I always love those stories, right? I always come back to Theodore Roosevelt or even Denzel Washington, right? If you cannot run, walk. If you cannot walk, crawl. But basically, with all costs, continue upon moving. There's something about this entrepreneurial journey that is so exciting that I love very dearly, and our listeners certainly do also. I'm interested, when you're thinking about this journey, what were the most pivotal sort of product or mindset decisions that allow Konnect Insights, basically without external funding, to grow to the way it thrived?
Yeah, I mean, funding is good because it allows you to invest in things that might not give you immediate paycheck, and you can experiment with few things. Let's say if you are taking 10 decisions, you can go wrong with 5, and 5 can work for you. But with bootstrap, you have to be a little more smarter, because if you take 10 decisions, at least 8 or 9 should work for you, right? I mean, that's how the whole equation is, not only in the early days, but even now, because you do not have that excess money to invest in maybe marketing efforts or boosting your server capacity, and maybe invest more in sales. So you really have to be smart with bootstrap, and the way to do is leverage the partners, leverage other companies who can actually sell your product. So a lot of smartness goes into continuing as a bootstrap, and every time as you grow from say 0 to 1 million, 1 to 5, 5 to 10, there are different approaches. You really have to be on your toes, think ahead of times, and then grow. But the equation is the same. Even if it's a funded company, this is how it works. Let's say a bootstrap company reached to a 5 million ARR versus a funded company reached to a 5 million ARR. In both cases, even in the case of the funded company, they have finished their whatever money they raised, and they again have to look for the second round. Okay, or the money that comes from the customers should take you from that 5 to 10, 15 million mark, right? So at a 5 million mark, whether it's a funded company or a bootstrap company, it's the same. The advantage the bootstrap company may have is they know how to still sustain without the funding money, right? I mean, I think if a bootstrap company versus a funded company is somewhere around 5 million, I think the bootstrap company has more advantage.
Interesting. You talked about the fact that it's important to stay flexible because the journey from 1 to 5, 5 to 10 is much different, perhaps. How do you balance perhaps staying true to the product and the missions while adapting with the flexibility that you need to be able to continually grow? What do you think is the key difference between those that get there and those that don't?
Yeah. See, things that are required to scale from 5 to 10 would be different. I'll tell you why. Because now you do have certain set of customers who believe in your product. If you have reached that 5 million mark, there is every bit of validation that has worked in your favor, right? And then you are also expanding in different markets. Today we have customers in 30 plus countries, right? So every bit of validation has happened. Now from there on, the difference is the way you scaled in your region, right? I mean, if you can belong to any given country, right? If there is a market in that country, you sold there because you as a founder were there in that region. Okay, then your initial salespeople were in that region. Then you expand to certain different regions. How will you scale? Because you cannot travel so much, and you know that the founder factor won't be there for selling. So you need a very good base of partners, and you need a good base of at least one person in that country who will sell, right? So it's a very different equation, because now you're not going to go do door to door sales. You're not going to meet people and do it, right? You need a set of complementing products who will work along with you at scale, and that scale is much faster. In fact, from 5 million to 10 to 15 to 20 could be much faster than what it was between 1 to 5. But the way to do it will be much different, because now you just have to think scaling, and scaling is not easy, I mean, you really have to have some great strategies on ground, so that there are different kinds of people who are interested in selling your product. So that's the whole equation. Now, if you always solve those problems by pushing in money as a funded company, then you're really short of ideas as you grow. Okay. So bootstrap company who has reached up to 10 million, and if they get funding, they can really do wonders. Yeah, that's it.
Right. I understood. I heard this great quote from yours, which was, constraint or catalyst for creativity. Bootstrapping taught us resilience.
Yeah.
Tell us more about that.
Resilience, grit, tenacity, persistence, perseverance, whatever you want to call it. Bootstrap teaches you that, because you go through those phases where there isn't money, and you'll always go through that phase when there is some short of money. You'll always come up with creative ideas to find solutions. Even in early days, when you don't have money and you're still building the product, the biggest challenge every bootstrapper had was, how do we invest money on servers? I mean, SaaS products need AWS capacities and all, right? I mean, they don't come cheap. So you always have that problem. So that is the first phase problem as a bootstrap company. Then you have certain set of customers. Then you're always balancing, how do I make enough money to pay for my server bills as well as my team, which is growing now, right? You really need that resilience. You really need that tenacity. You need, of course, a belief that you'll always succeed. You have to have very high intent, I mean, a determination that no matter what, we will do it. And if you get to a certain stage of about 5 million or so, then those company that did not quit. When it was going tough for you, you did not quit. That is something that is established. As far as you are a bootstrap company, reached a 5 million mark, you should always be thankful for the team which got you there. So it's definitely an interesting journey in early days.
100%. The objective with obviously building Konnect Insights was the unified CX vision, basically the customer experience vision. And when you think about some of the best customer journey in the whole world, best customer experience examples come very often. Apple, Amazon is obviously one that is very much striving these days, and for good reasons. Really, if you can take us back a little bit to, as you were envisioning this as an all-in-one AI platforms, and I suppose it started as a not AI platforms, right? I saw that Konnect AI Plus is now something that you guys also offer, which is cool. When you think about this merge of listening, analysis, engagement, sort of what a CRM is for your contacts, but for your customer experience in many ways.
Yeah.
I'm really interested in, how did you identify the need for these integrations before the market fully recognizes it? Because we know those in which have an information that the market is not perhaps prone to believe in, yet they realize the opportunities, because if you can prove them wrong, obviously there's a big gap there. What was it for you?
Right. Yeah, I mean, you mentioned Apple and Amazon great with customer experience. Back then when we started. So today, let's say if our challenge is to the AI adoption is the challenge today. Back then, the adoption of the customer experience as a product was a challenge. To explain to the customers the fact that emails, calls, chats, traditional channels will always be there, but you have to listen to the customer. Coming on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram also matters, because it is not always about solving customer queries. It is also about understanding the people who talk positive about you. There are opportunities of sales based on the data that comes from an omni-channel platform. Merge that with the customer query. Have marketing automation done based on the insights of what people are talking about you, and have one view of the customer across channels. Because don't think of your customers basis the channels. Think of your customer as one customer. That's what customers think. We don't think that I'm talking to a McDonald's or a Domino's or Kia Motors with the fact that my query is going to get routed to an agent on chat, or my query is going to get routed on an agent on call or Twitter. I don't think three people. When I think of a brand, I think of a brand, right? So why do brands then go ahead and say, okay, a customer coming on chat, a customer coming on calls, and a customer coming on social media, and an email, differently? You have to think like how your customers should think. So brands understood that the reason why omni-channel customer experience platforms exist, they understood. And now with the AI, what happens is everything gets summarized. The AI knows what is the right response. It predicts what can happen. It routes based on various workflows. So it makes life much more simpler.
Oh yeah.
It just empowers the agent because it has knowledge base. It remembers the context of that person. It knows the persona of that person. It suggests what you can sell more, and it's a different level altogether. Uh, and the way to adopt AI is also ensure that you're not compromising the security. That is the important factor of it, right? So you just have to use it in the right fashion. Now, this kind of products that we offer and others offer, ensuring that customer experience along with AI really adds huge value to the brands. Happy, happy,
Unders-
happy customers.
100%, and that's the goal of it, right? A business is money in, and money in is customer that keeps paying for whatever you're offering. That's it's really quite simple, actually. At the end of the day, one of the most important insights that I gathered from you from the research we did on you, Samir, before this episode, is your understanding that obviously CX, customer experience, is not a department, is the sum of every interactions. And to me, I see, and I love your take on this, I see all the departments as we saw as silos: marketing, sales, finance, operations, so on and so forth. I see the company of the future treating them as in a ecosystemic fashion. I believe the world is shifting that way. I believe the world is shifting from, you have 14 basically dashboard for your marketing tools to one integrated where you have everything. Same thing for yourself. Same thing where agents can communicate agentically speaking, where you can build one agent and that agent powers all the others in an agentic fashions. Do you agree with that? And I suppose, how fast do you think, from a market adaptation perspective, how far are we from this to be common knowledge and well accepted?
Yeah, I mean, see, point solution siloed platforms, are obviously will be extinct by now, because you still can have a product which is specific for finance or marketing or sales or customer care, but then they should talk to each other. When we are building a product as a customer experience platform, we cover all non-voice channels from where the data comes in, all non-voice channels. But we don't provide voice channels on our own. We integrate with other voice channels, okay? The CCaaS solution providers or the CPI providers, right? At the same time, we offer marketing insights, but we do not build our own marketing automation tools, okay? So there are
Okay.
separate marketing automation tools, but then they all should connect, connect with each other. That's the important factor. Now, if our solution is doing something really good, but is not able to talk to other platforms, then then the departments are going to work inside it. Because there could be a very small widget on my customer care platform that can give me good insights, can be passed to AI, and thereby help my agent to solve that query. That's a huge value add. Uh, and every single time when we go to a customer with our product, whether these integrations would be a customizable one or a configurable one is an important factor. And I
Right.
didn't want to customize and do any coding to get this part of integration done. It has to be purely no code integration, just by button click integration already available. Just the way N10 or Zapier works, right? They can really connect with any third party tools. So we really do that beautifully well, where all these integrations are just part of no code integration, right? So one vendor will not provide you everything, one vendor will not come with all products, but every single vendor that you choose for as a SaaS platform should really have the connectors built, so that all these systems can talk to each other and you can build beautiful workflows, and thereby have happy customers, also save 3x time, increase productivity by 3x. So all those factors are important. Siloed products who don't talk to each other are no more there. I mean, 2026 will come, and companies will get rid of those products which doesn't talk to other platforms.
100% agree. And obviously, we already see that, call it revolution, or I suppose innovations in the bigger companies. How far are we, if you could sort of give me a personal timeline of yours, from even SMEs comprehending that this will be not an act of optimization, this will literally be an act of survival. Companies in which don't get this and the urgency of such things, I really believe, just like said God, and just like other people talk about this at great lengths, will go extinct by, my guess is 2030. You might have a even quicker guess than mine on that. How do you see, how fast will that trigger to every single company that wants to survive, period?
I mean, see, we work with a lot of enterprises. We also work with a lot of SMBs. Now, the way SMBs look at it is they try to save money on products, whereas they should actually save money on operations, because at any point in time, your operational costs are going to be 95%, and all tools combined, will be 5%. Okay. Now, if the products that you choose can bring your 95% cost down to, say, 85%, then that's a huge value rather than saving a few thousands on products, right? So
Yeah.
it is where the SMBs need to understand the ROI side of things. So our product pitch is different for different set of people, right? I mean, if it is an enterprise, the ROI definitely comes into the picture. The connected world comes into the picture. When it comes to SMBs, it is important for them to understand that today we might be small, but as we scale, we don't want to keep changing our systems as we scale. So even if the product is offering 20 different features and we just need 5 today, right? Choose the ones who can give you 20 features, not just those 5, because as you grow, you don't want to change the systems. But the product should also be rightly priced. I mean, I cannot really take an enterprise version of something like a Salesforce, right? And then pay huge cost just because I'm going to go to scale. So the modern products like us, do pricing as you grow. It
Mm.
helps the SMBs. Now, I really don't want to be a product that is only for enterprises. Today, of 500 customers that we have, we very easily have about 400 enterprise customers. But I know that those 100 customers will be growing at a 5x speed than the enterprises customer as we reach to the multiple markets. And then price it accordingly, where SMBs can afford the product as well, have the productivity, and also have the scale. Yeah, so those are the smart SaaS products who understand what's the right price point for everyone. So if you consume less, you pay less. If you consume more, you pay more. So obviously, enterprises will pay you more, and the SMBs will pay less now, but as they grow, they'll pay more, right? So the price point is an important factor.
Very interesting. At Corsica, we are partners with Swan AI, which you might or may not know. Very interesting website intent software, operational software. And I was just talking with Amos yesterday about exactly that, about pricing. And we get into a conversation about Nathan Latka. You know Nathan from
And
Founders Pad? Yes.
he
So
interviewed me.
Nathan,
Yeah.
oh, very interesting. Well, that's great. Congratulations. So Nathan at the SaaS basically Revolutions summit, he talks about that in his opinion, in 2 years from now, so let's say 2027, 28 ish, all SaaS basically platforms will be users based. Do you agree with that? Do you think we're going to be seeing some creative ways of pricing instead of just users based? How do you see perhaps that also growing inside of Connect Insights, if you could?
See, look at it from the product side of uh, things, right? I mean, if we are enhancing the product features with AI that actually reduces the users, why would we continue to sell you on the user license, right? Like our pitches, if you are reducing your operational cost by 3x, then will we continue to offer you pricing on users? I mean, we'll obviously earn less, like, bringing in more technology, investing more in technology gives us less money on the for the SaaS product. So that is one way of looking at it. The SaaS products will obviously want to have solutions which are user based, yes, but also based on the consumptions or the kind of value the AI bring to you. Okay, so that is how the SaaS products will look at it. From the customer side of things, how will they look at it? Like they would say, fine, I mean, user licenses was costing me so much X dollars. Now, the part of the user costing is X divided by 3. Okay,
Right.
but since I am doing say 3 times more than what I was doing, okay, can I then pay consumption based pricing? Okay, so all that math has to work. At the end of the day, SaaS products will make more money by offering more value, and the customers will still pay less because the number of user licenses are less, right? So it will fit the equation. It will fit the equation, and both parties will be happy, right? Uh, but purely user based licenses is something that, as Nathan rightly put it, will not be the way. Okay, in our case, the pricing works on 4 different factors, which is mentions, users, social profiles, and topics. We call it as must, right?
Okay.
So the volume consumption is one part of it, not purely the user licenses, and then you pay additional for AI quality assessments and those kind of models. Uh, Overall pricing for the customer really has to be a value proposition where they definitely pay less for the products, get more out of it, and it's connected. Which is
Interesting. And you just talked about the fact that obviously you serve 400 plus global brands and 38 countries, you said?
30 plus countries.
30 plus countries. So that is congratulations on that first and foremost. The One thing I'm always interested in is that obviously your insights from working with enterprise across 20 plus verticals and this many countries and cultures and so on, what great brands do perhaps differently in managing feedbacks and relationships is always so interesting to me, right? I recall a quote from one of Bill Gates' interview that said, your most unhappy customers are your greatest source of learning, right? So there's great insights from when things didn't work, which I think is an interesting sort of piece of wisdom of life. And we talked a lot about the fact that SMEs sort of misunderstand the cost per product in exchange of the cost for operations, perhaps, and how the ROI lies there. I'm interested though, from your perspective, which works with so many global brands, what recurring customer experience mistakes does even large enterprises still make? Are there some that comes to mind that even no matter the stages, it seems like they don't emphasize enough the importance of some criteria of the CX experience?
Yeah, I mean, see, in fact, with large enterprises to make them for a certain change, right? Request them for a certain change, is a big task compared to the SMBs, right? I mean, we work with a lot of say quick commerce brands who are in a way enterprises because they obviously consume a lot, and they have become very big in short span of time. Let's say there is a startup which is a quick commerce, very big now, but they just started 5 to 6 years back, and now are unicorns, right? And they are the users of the product, versus someone who is into business for say last 30 years, a huge enterprise. Okay, now if I go to these two brands, and for this new startup, if I tell them that, okay, you should also have your contact center integrated, you should also have your chatbots integrated with our solutions, have a unified dashboard, use our Connect Research Cloud for a Q&A kind of insights, they'll be fast to adopt. Okay, whereas you go to this large enterprise, uh, tell them the same use case, they need to have 4 or 5 layers of permission to actually, give us a yes. Okay, uh, huge value add. They understand that there's a huge value add, but then there are hierarchies and layers of permissions that are required, which become a problem. Now, it is easy for a company like us to land and expand because our product features let you do that. But if we are talking to a very big brand which has a lot of hierarchies, then internally they have problems to understand, what's the value add. Now, are they not making the most out of it? Definitely. I mean, we would love to have every single customer of ours use at least 80% of their features, right? Uh, Even if they use 30-40%, they'll do great. But if they go ahead and use up to 80% features of a product, they'll do even better. And for that, they are not going to pay extra. I mean, we took money from you for whatever you're going to use, right? But if you're underusing our solution, you're not making the most out of it. And not just with the product like us, but with products that in the SaaS space. So definitely, yes, it's difficult for large enterprises to adopt to change, and even to do things which are going to benefit them because of the structure or the hierarchies that they have in the companies. Yeah.
Very interesting. With the Connect AI Plus side of things, you are very adamant. You're somebody that talks about this at great length, which is the human behind the data, in sort of this concept in which, in an era of automations, emphasizing empathy and the use of AI to amplify human connections, not to replace it, is a very common topic of yours. And I believe that wholeheartedly myself, and it's a common topic on this show also. Um, from your perspective, there's sort of three chunks of people in the AI wave right now. There's the people that are scared at all costs. It's never good. It should completely be demolished. There's the other side, which are the exact opposites. Anything AI is great. I want AI boxers, AI this, AI that.
Yeah.
And then there's the people perhaps that are trying to rationalize in the middle, saying perfect. Maybe some things AI is great, some things we should be careful with. And I suppose because it's such a hot topic, there's always more opinions, more fear, I suppose, because of how world changing that technology is. But I love people like yours, which are successful people, that says, you know what? No, AI is a tool like any other tools was. It's an amplifier of the creation and creator, which is yourself. But in your opinion, what are the most effective ways AI not only can, but is enhancing rather than diminishing the human elements in CX?
See, I mean, talking of those three types of people, right? What I always believe, and we are, I mean, we are millennials, right? We have seen the changes that have happened over the years. For me, I believe that you cannot anyways control the way the world is advancing. There's no point being a judge of it. You are just witnessing the change that is happening, which is beyond your control, right? And just like be on the side where you adopt it, and make it for your use, or just be in denial that things will go south. It's I think every now and then you'll see the change. The world will move very fast. Be a witness to it and be a part of that change, rather than be a judge of it, and then just be in denial. Because I know for the fact, when people who were in their 40s back then, when email or internet came, okay, and people
Right.
in 50s when social media came, they were like, oh, no, 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 we are not going to be part of it. And they just did not uh, create their IDs on social media, or did not create email IDs when people who were in 45. No, with all due respect. But had they adopted back then, they would have really, been in love with the whole thing that internet and social media brought, right? I mean, that's where we are today. I mean, if we say that I'm not going to be part of this change, AI is going to take jobs, what are you going to do? Are you going to stop it by anyway? You just have to witness and move forward. I mean, that's on the philosophical side of things.
Nice.
Technically speaking, there's so much to learn. I mean, the best part of living in this world is that there are ample of opportunities to learn. Things are moving much fast. There is nothing that you are curious about and you don't get answers today. Back then, in our days, we did open encyclopedias. We are people from those days before the internet, right? So why not just be in this age and just fulfill your curiosity? If you just want to know something. If you want to be part of the tech world, then please go ahead and enjoy, build products on top of it, be on the beneficiary side of things rather than uh, be or be on the complaining side of things. That's how I would say you should adopt it. And is the world not going to change 5 years down the line? Is it not going to change 10 years down the line? So just enjoy and move
Very nice. Yeah, technology should empower empathy, not erase it. Should empower us to perhaps not be turned into some productivity machine, some type of robots, but a way to actually increase your creativity in a way, in ways you can, in many ways, be
on.
more human, quote unquote, because of the task it can perhaps replace you in, which in many ways is some of the sort of the gritty and sort of the doing portions of life, which many people don't want to do anyways, and we're sort of forced to be doing it. What if we can have this beautiful technology being able to enhance our lives by again replacing us in tasks in which is not constrained to the human empowerments in the first place.
Yeah.
I'm very bullish on AI. You seem to be very bullish as well. One thing that is interesting though is in that trust and sort of fear dilemma. Building AI you can trust is humongous. And your philosophy very much aligned with mine on ethical AI, right? So transparency, explainability, and designing models that business and customers can believe in. I suppose to me, when I look at, and I come obviously on a marketing side as I own a marketing agency. To me, we're very far from the time where marketing is only a tool of persuasions. It is now a tool of community. It's now a tool of relationship tool, which is far, far, far greater than just the pure persuasion portions of it. So, in your opinion, in the way you see things, how do you approach AI developments to ensure that it actually builds trust in your customers, basically, regardless of if the fearful aspect, like you said, the world will continue to move regardless of your opinion on it. But how do you make sure that you keep that in mind as you're building AI within your company?
Yeah. See, you said you're from the marketing side of the world. We are looking at from the customer care side of things. The AI features that you build have to be secure, right? I mean, you cannot just take PII information from one system, pass it on to another system just because you want to offer AI features. Uh, our way of looking at AI should be healthy AI. When I say that, take an analogy of how we consume food. Okay, there are three ways of consuming food. One is you can order from outside. You don't control the ingredients. Could be unhealthy. I don't know. Or you cook at home by using the best ingredients, or be a farmer yourself. Have everything produced and then build it, cook it. But the farmers of the world are Google and Meta and OpenAI, right? Who build the best LLMs. You can cook home food by using the best LLMs and a very secured AI, which is not going outside your systems. Uh, but if you just take customers' data, pass it on to third party AI just for the AI features, compromising their data, then that's a very unhealthy way of offering an AI solution. So for us, it is important that every single data that we bring into our system doesn't go outside our system just because we want AI features. So we use the best of the LLMs or do all that computational logic on our own servers and then offer you the AI features. So in the customer experience, customer care side of things, where we own the personal data of users, it is important that the AI layer that we offer is also that much secured and not compromise the personal.
One question on security that I always love from both a philosophical and a technological perspective is how much of security is the company's responsibilities compared to the user's responsibilities in its usage of such technology. Where are you within this balance of how much should companies protect their user, not just from the security to use so there's no data breach, but also perhaps with giving them common, basically best practice and others to ensure that the users doesn't burn themselves with the tech they're pushing forward?
Yeah. I mean, if you look at from the SaaS product side of things, you really need to have so it's all built on cloud, right? I mean, there was a time when everything was on-prem.
Yep.
On-prem days are gone. Nobody builds that capex, right? People moved on to the cloud solution. We have large telecom, banking, government customers who trust the cloud. It's on it's on our cloud, but we comply to data residency, so we have our instances in those countries, right? And now comes the AI part of it, right? Now, let's say if someone is using just an open AI, you don't even know where that data is going, so that you bring in the AI features. Okay.
Yeah.
What these companies are going to do is they're going to say, okay, we want the best of the AI features, but just like you promised when you signed up with us, that you'll ensure the data residency, you'll ensure that everything will be on your cloud. Are you making any third-party API calls to give me AI features, and are they going outside my country, or are they breaching any of these laws? So these are some things that we already see now in the RFPs, and SaaS products have to comply to that. So at least on the product side of things, or SaaS product side of things, you have to ensure that uh, everything that you promised with the data security is also there with the AI features, um, and people are getting smarter, so they want intelligent features, but not at the cost of data.
One thing that I love about your story is obviously building a global SaaS leader platform and leaderships from India. Love India. I've never been there, but I always had a fascination for India as a country and its culture. And we're seeing now more and more Indians leading world-class companies, which I think is also something. I think the Indian people are very underrated. Let me just put it this way. Let me put my opinion up front. I think they're very, very underrated. And one thing I love about the Indian is really about their understanding of thinking global but acting local. Right, that's Patrick Gides perhaps quotes, which I really love. When obviously you're thinking about your own company, you scale globally while staying rooted in India's growing tech ecosystems
Yeah.
and being able to perhaps keep upon building trust across border nonetheless. What strategies did you guys adopt perhaps so that you can earn the enterprise credibility in diverse markets like the US or Europe, for example?
Yeah. I mean, you talk about India. India is a very diverse country. If we
That
have
is.
28 odd states, we have so many languages. If you go to any office, you'll see people speaking different kind of languages. So it's a very diverse country. There's a lot of unity. We do fight, but yeah, there's a lot of unity. So in that sense, and if you go out and go to any event, you will see so many Indians out there. I was just at Jitex, right? It's a global event for tech companies across the world. I was at Dreamforce, many times back, and you will see so many Indians out there. So we do definitely, have done great in the world of technology, but at the same time, we understand the markets better, how it will work in different parts of the world, how things will work in Middle East or Southeast Asia, or whether it's Europe or UK or US. And just the fact that you get this opportunity to interact with people, learn from the cultures, build products the way they are going to consume. Uh, it wasn't a difficult task for us to build our UI into different languages. We support about 8 different languages. So the moment we made it in English, we ensured that it is available in Spanish, Portuguese, Arabic, and And to work in different markets, you really need to have that local flavor, because it's easy to sell in your own country when you know the nuances of it, right? But when you go to other countries, obviously the trust won't be there. The trust will only come when there is a local partner who is reselling your product. So a lot of time has to be invested in building that local network. Don't think that you will end up earning 20-25% less because the commissions will go to the partner. They'll If you empower them to bring 2 or 3 deals, they'll bring 20 more for you. That's the bonus that will come from the partner. So in every region, whether you're a small SaaS company, funded, not funded, heavily funded, whatever, you need to have a very strong partner network. Look at a Salesforce like company. What the revenues are, what, $40 billion something yearly.
Yes.
Number of partners they have globally. They can push so many salespeople and get the business done, and they do it. But they'll always have a implementation partner to support them. Because they bring in the local nuances, they have their own connects, so they bring in more business. They take the headache of implementation and support for you, and then you just focus on selling your product. So if a large company like Salesforce can do it, why can't smaller companies do it? Just because you're funded and have more money to have your own salespeople doesn't mean that you will forget the local nuances, and not work.
I love this. It's the second time you mention partnerships as a huge part of you guys' growth in 2025, going to 2026 for a SaaS and maybe even an AI SaaS platforms. What do you think the optimal strategy, partnership strategy, is for perhaps consistent growth?
I mean, I can go on and on how the partnership network can grow. There are multiple ways of doing it. You can have resellers, implementation partners. You can actually complement with other SaaS providers. Because your product doesn't do everything. You have some integrations built with them. They have their own partner network. Why don't you leverage that? you know if you're working with a large CRM or a contact center who already has 50 partners globally, why don't you leverage that via them, rather than chasing one partner at a time? In certain countries, why don't you discover a distributed model? Because if that country is going to give you not more than, say, 70 odd customers, go with a distributed model. So it end of the day, it's all common sense. You really don't need to go to IIMs or B schools to learn how you can do sales. It all boils down to asking right set of questions. That if I have to do business in this market, what's the right way to do it? Then go on build the network. And at the same time, you also need people who are very strong in operations. Because when you're dealing with a lot of people, everything shouldn't come to your table. There are conflicts. It's not an easy game, right? Nothing is easy. Building the product is not easy. Finding your first customers is not easy. Scaling is not easy. Maintaining the partner network is not easy. So it's going to be tough, no doubt about that. But then have solid people who are really good at operations, and also have people who are good at strategies, and then go and do sales. But yeah, you have to come up with the most SaaS platforms, what they think is that I'll have a product, I'll have a pricing page, and I'll get a lot of inbound queries. That rarely happens. If you're selling a product which is as less as $5 per user, $10 per user, that's fine. Anything that goes above, say, total price, anything that goes about, say, $200 a month, then
Okay.
you cannot do business online. You cannot just do marketing and get inbound leads. You need to do an outbound sales. And when you do outbound sales, then there are various ways of doing it. You need to have your own team, you need to have SDRs, you need to have partners, you need to have distributor network, and then only that business will grow.
Very nice, and I like this a lot. I like your collaborative mindset so much. I want to, before I dive into how you see the future and in the end of this episode, I want to ask you a personal questions. Obviously, you strike me. This is my first time seeing you, but you strike me definitely as a leader, and somebody that perhaps on this quest of learning and longevity. I see you talk a lot about focus as well. I really love that mindset. Really, really love that mindset. I think it keeps yourself and your team also innovating because of that balance between sort of agility with patience and really perhaps balancing that with a very, very fast moving, not only SaaS world, but SaaS product, and which is your own company. I really love if you can enlighten our audience with some of the habits and principles that help you sustain long-term focus while leading a fast-growing, basically SaaS company like yours.
Yeah, I mean, one most important thing is you should love the process, what you're doing. Because if you're doing this just to have an exit and make $100 million, then that will not keep you going. As long as you're enjoying the process, there'll be a lot of ups and downs. But if you're not in love with the work that you're doing, then the early passion is not going to last for long. So you really have to enjoy the process. Uh, and how does it happen? If you become good at something and you continue to do that, then the fun goes. So you really move on to one more challenge where you're not good at it, and then you move on to another challenge. So you really have to wear multiple hats and enjoy the process, not just as a founder, but the core team that works on it. I mean, you will have at least 5 to 6 champions who are with you for so many years. It's not just the responsibility of the founder to be with those values, but those the core team as well. And as you build the team, obviously you're not going to get like-minded people. There are going to be different kinds of people that you have to work with. You do have that beginner's luck, for first 2 years running, and suddenly you will see it's the other way around. It flips 180-degree, and then you have all the bad luck that you can think of. That's how the journey is usually, right? In those days, you really have to be an champion at operations. So all those things come into picture. And at the end of the day, are you still enjoying what you're doing? Really matters, because that initial passion will die very soon. And you really have to keep going. So what matters is how intense is your intent, how determined you are, how disciplined you are, and that is also an important thing. And at the same time, live your life. It's not everything. So you have your own family, you have friends. The normal life continues. It's not be all and end all what you're in. It's part of it.
Right. Tolstoy said the two most powerful warriors are passion and time, and I definitely agree with him on that. Samir, I want you to talk to us about the future of CX, right? The future that is, I believe, perhaps predictive, proactive instead of reactive is a big thing. I think we're going to see shifting in CX. Which up and coming trends or capabilities excite you the most in this next generation of CX technology? What are some of your boldest next move for your own company? Tell us more about how you see all of that unfolding.
Right. See, the tech will empower us to build, fascinating things, right? But it's a lot of lot of people are predicting it's a world of AI agents, right? I mean, I think AI agents is part of the game. It's not the thing. The products, the CX products, or the marketing products, or whosoever has a SaaS product will survive, sustain, thrive, depending on what kind of data they manage. Uh, it's a data that still is the king, right? I cannot have a startup which is an agentic AI that offers a workflow, connects to different apps. That is not going to work. I mean, maybe in 2025, everybody's talking about agentic AI. Agentic AI is a tool, but the platforms which has data, are going to thrive, because building agentic AI is very easy. Ensuring that you are a platform that owns the entire data is not happening today. It happened for those products that are invested for 10, 20, 30 years, so that's how the future is going to be.
Interesting.
Yeah, not the workflow automations that anybody can build. That's on the AI side of things. Now, the products that are still not connecting to other data platforms, that still siloed, are going to maybe not sustain. I don't want to use the word die. I think they'll not sustain for long. So we have to figure out a way to
They will fade away.
yeah, figure out a way to actually connect, and not be a siloed platform. and talk to other platforms. So if they have not done that investment, now they have to do that. And building workflows and agentic AI is not part of third-party tools. It is a part of the main product. Okay, it's not difficult to do.
Right.
So be champion with workflow management. Be smart with building agentic AIs. If you own data, then you are already the king.
Very nice. And for Konnect Insights, what do you think is the next bold move, perhaps to I suppose reshape enterprise customer experience?
Yeah, I mean, we are working on a lot of Connect AI features. A lot of them have already been rolled out. We have this feature called as Agent Empower. So that's fantastic. That helps agent with 3x productivity. We have something called as AI Essentials that does everything on the single data source that it can do. But what we are now building is called as KRC, or Connect Research Cloud. That's something very exciting, where you can ask questions and get answers. You can ask simple questions like which agent is performing the best on calls and which agent is performing based on the social media, and it'll give you answers, and you don't have to go to the dashboards to find them. You can ask questions like what's the best content that I can put for the recent campaign that is coming. Give me content ideas. How am I faring against the competition? You can ask questions and get answers. So if Perplexity and ChatGPT is the AI for the world because it has the internet data, Connect AI Plus is the AI for your world because it has the entire customer data. Right? That's what we are building now. And then there are a lot of agents that have been built. So you can have a Connect strategy agent that, based on all the posts that you have done, can tell you what is the next to do. There are agents on crisis management that can create runtime dashboards for you. It can also tell you what can be your communication if the crisis has happened. So you can ask questions and get answers. So KRC is the one that we are building now. The next stage is to really bring in data lakes from other sources and then put it into the research cloud. So it's not just restricted to the data source that we have. So we're heading in that direction. And the reason we can do it is because we have the data source of all possible channels within our platform. We are not building an agentic AI. We are the product who is building smart AI agents as workflows.
Well, data is still king, it seems like, ladies and gentlemen. So keep it up. The future obviously belongs to those who prepare for it today. That's Malcolm X. Samir, Narkar, was an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. Really love your collaborative mindset. Again, I'm coming back to it, but I think you have you're a strong man, but a man in which understand that we're stronger together, not only from this concept which you unify the CX experience, but also as human beings. And it was an absolute pleasure to have you with us. And I would love if you can share some last words of wisdom with our audience, please.
Thanks, Sam. It is a pleasure talking. I mean, not every time you come up with the best answers. It's just the way the flow goes. I really love the talk today. Thank you so much. And some words of wisdom. I think I already given many, right? I mean, so many of them. But yeah, be persistent. Enjoy the journey. Don't think that what you're doing is out of the world and get too much involved into it. Enjoy your life. Follow your passion. If you love sports, please play. If you love watching movies, please watch movies. Be very disciplined in what you're doing, and yeah, just be a normal life. There's at the end of the day, I say there's nowhere to go and nothing to get. Just enjoy the process. Yes.
Thank you for spending your time with us today on the Meaningful Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a review or share it with someone who could benefit from it. And always remember, your story matters. Make it meaningful. We hope to see you next time.